Hello, America. I'm Mark Levin, and it's Life, Liberty, and Levin Sunday. We have two great guests, Senator Tom Cotton and Robert Greenway, expert on the Middle East and Iran in particular, former National Security Council Senior Director under President Trump in his first term. It was a hell of a wonderful celebration last evening, wasn't it, with the President and the military there. 250th anniversary of the Army. 1775. What happened in 1775? Our colonists decided that they didn't want to be abused anymore. They didn't want to be abused anymore. They wanted self-government. And so they fought for it. And they were never supposed to win. Badly outnumbered. They didn't have much of a professional army. You know the story. The President of the United States gave a tremendous speech about our heroes, about how our men and women in uniform fight, 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 just like he did in that assassination attempt. We have Medal of Honor winners. Why do we have a Medal of Honor? We have a Medal of Honor to give special recognition to the greatest of warriors, and yet there are tremendous numbers of warriors we've had throughout our history. Look at the Revolutionary War. Incredible war. Incredible victory. Horrible, horrible deaths. And the British would take our men, imprison them on their slave boats, prison ships they call them. They would die of dysentery to the extent they fed them. The meat was rancid. We lost about half of our men during the Revolutionary War who were on those ships. And without the French, without the help of the French, basically taking down and chasing off much of the British Navy, we wouldn't have won at Yorktown, and we wouldn't have our independence. Important to remember, isn't it? Those who say we don't need allies and we can always go it alone. It's not what our history shows. We fought a civil war, over 700,000 casualties. Was it worth it? Or should we just say peace? They have slavery and we don't have slavery. That's not what Abraham Lincoln said. He said we're going to have one country and we're going to end slavery. 700,000 casualties. We literally had battles where there were 30,000, 40,000 casualties in a battle. A lot of people thought that was a forever war. Lincoln said we're going to see it through and we're going to put an end to this. That's what he did. World War II, minding our own business, we got attacked at Pearl Harbor by Imperial Japan. You see, evil countries with evil men running them, they don't care if we want peace. They don't care about forever wars. They don't care about all the isolationist propaganda. They're evil. That's what they are, which brings me to today. We're witnessing with our own eyes half of the war. We can't really see what's going on in Iran and the Israeli attacks on the various nuclear sites and other sites there, but we're seeing what's going on in Israel. And what are we seeing? Hundreds and hundreds of ballistic missiles being fired at this little country. It has one of the most sophisticated, if not the most sophisticated, anti-missile system on the face of the earth. It spent a lot of time and money working on it, but it's not perfect. No defense system can ever be perfect. It doesn't take much. These ballistic missiles are massive. Imagine if they had nuclear warheads. The Israelis do. Look at the damage these missiles are doing. They have about 3,000 of them. Apparently about 1,500 or 2,000 of them can reach Israel. Imagine if they had 10,000 of them. Imagine if they had 20,000 of them. Well, the Israelis do imagine that. So they worry about the ballistic missiles. They worry about nuclear warheads. And now, exactly what is Iran targeting? Its major cities. It's trying to kill as many citizens as it possibly can. Exactly what is Israel targeting? Their nuclear sites, their oil fields and so forth, or oil storage centers that they use to fuel these ballistic missiles, among other things. Now, Iran's been warned by our great president time and time again, you better make a deal, and they thumbed their nose at him. Israel's warned them time and time again, quit firing these damn ballistic missiles at our citizens or we're going to punish you severely. But they keep firing ballistic missiles at their citizens. Iran has signed parchment agreements and parchment agreements. They'll sign them with Europe. They'll sign them with the IAEA, the UN. They'll sign them with us. They'll sign whatever you want. But they lie. They don't adhere to them. Even more, they're arming proxies. It's a country of 13 million people surrounded by hundreds of millions, many of whom are enemies. On every front, so far, they've been victorious or almost victorious. And now there's the mothership that funds it all, all of it, and says they want to wipe Israel, meaning the Jewish people and the other people of Israel, off the face of the earth. And they demonstrated, if they can, they will. You have a free country that believes in life, that wants to be left alone, versus an evil terrorist regime. This isn't about expanding war in the region. The Arab countries are not going to jump into this in order to ensure that Iran gets nuclear missiles. They hate Iran. Iran is a Persian country. The Arab countries are Arab countries. They have nothing in common, culturally or otherwise. Yes, there are Muslims in both, but different types of Muslims. And I've explained on this program for years. There are Muslims, and then there are jihadi Islamist terrorists who kill their own people. Just like the regime in Iran is slaughtering its own people, raping its own people, torturing its own people. They have dungeons. They have these concentration camps. The people have risen up twice to try and overthrow that government. Nobody talks about the Iranian people. It's like, let's make a deal with the regime and the people will be prosperous. No, they won't. They're not going to be prosperous. They live in a hellhole. Now, we have significant military assets in the region. We have significant military assets in every region. So the isolationists, who are appeasers, who will get us all killed, they believe we should just pull back from everywhere. NATO, Europe, Africa, Middle East. What are we doing there? We're protecting ourselves. That's what we're doing there. They're forward bases. We have allies, like Israel, who are fighting wars that really help us too. We have a base in Qatar. Israel didn't put it there. We have a base in Iraq. Israel didn't put that one there either. We have locations and bases throughout the Middle East that have absolutely nothing to do with the state of Israel or even defending the state of Israel. So what should we do? Should we withdraw? Say, you know what? China, North Korea, Russia, Iran, all the terrorist groups, you can have the Middle East, you can have the oil, you can have the navigable waters. We're out of here. Really? I'd love to see the plan of the isolationists and the pacifists and the appeasers. I would love to see it. They don't have a plan. They'll get us all killed. So we need to protect our bases. And so people are saying, what? Israel shouldn't defend itself because the enemy might attack some of our bases? Does that make sense to anybody? Wouldn't it be better to take out the enemy? When the Islamist Nazis hit us on 9/11, did the Israelis urge us not to create a wider war? Because the Islamist Nazis come out of their neighborhood. Did they say, please don't hit them too hard in Afghanistan or anywhere else? They may rise up and attack us, drag us into your war. No, they said, how can we help you? And gave us as much intelligence as they could. Now, the Islamist terrorists in the Middle East have struck us hard. They've struck Europe hard. They strike Africa hard. And of course, they strike countries in the Middle East hard, including Israel. But it's left to little Israel to carry the entire burden. The entire burden. Now look, if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. But should we at least let them finish the job? Are we going to pull them back because Putin is making phone calls? Putin, who's a special pleader for Iran. Putin, who provided the ground-to-air missile system to take out Israel's air force that Israel took out. We're going to listen to him. We're going to listen to him about a ceasefire when he's blowing away Ukrainian civilians and he won't even go to the ceasefire table? Are we kidding ourselves? Putin? Seriously? And this Iranian regime provides oil to China. China, that's about to invade Taiwan. Is that smart? Does that make sense? You know, sometimes when you see evil, it's actually evil. Sometimes when you see a regime that's out to destroy the West, that's out to destroy Christians and Jews and Muslims that won't go along, that's working with the Marxists and the fascists and others of our enemies, sometimes they're evil. Wouldn't Israel be doing the United States and the West a favor by taking them out? Well, Mark, I thought you said just nuclear weapons. It's too late for that. Have you been watching what's going on? We're going to have a nuclear deal. We're going to have a ballistic missile deal. And how are you going to have a ballistic missile deal when China's providing them with the fuel for the ballistic missiles? Will they sign the deal too? And will Russia sign the deal to make sure there's no more ground-to-air missile defense systems? Who are we signing this deal with? The president posted this last night. The U.S. had nothing to do with the attack on Iran tonight. If we are attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full strength and might of the U.S. Armed Forces will come down on you at levels never seen before. However, we can easily get a deal done between Iran and Israel and end this bloody conflict. Donald Trump is a leader. Donald Trump is a historic and iconic leader who loves his country and is going to protect his country at any cost. Benjamin Netanyahu is a leader who loves his country and is going to protect his country at any cost either, as would any great president or prime minister. If we are attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full strength and might of the U.S. armed forces will come down on you at levels never seen before. What does that mean? Nuclear? I don't know. But it means we're not going to put up with a damn thing. Do you think the Israelis have been attacked enough in this war and other wars? Do you think? Let me ask you a question. Today, if Russia or China wanted to put nuclear missiles in Cuba, would we tolerate that? Would we? Let me ask you this question. If Mexico had sent thousands of terrorists into our country that raped, butchered, murdered, decapitated, burned alive citizens in, say, Texas or Arizona or New Mexico, would there be a discussion about a ceasefire? And what about the country that was behind it, Iran? Would they get away with that? Is that okay? Let me ask you a question. If we took ballistic missiles, hundreds at a time, from, let's say, Canada, do you think we put up with that? You know, we used to have a Monroe Doctrine that said anything that goes on in our hemisphere is our business, and we will defend our country come hell or high water. Monroe Doctrine, our entire hemisphere. President of the United States says we need that Panama Canal for our defense. We build it, it's ours. Either you give it to us or we're going to take it. Exactly the right thing. So here's the state of Israel. They got a country that has funded proxies that have slaughtered their citizens, that promises to continue to do that. Is that going to be part of some deal? You see, you can make a deal with evil, but evil is evil. It laughs. And they've shot ballistic missiles in, and now we know. All those people saying, how do you know, Mark, that they're building nuclear programs? I said, well, all the intelligence says so. Now we know. The sites are actually being hit. There's actually nuclear radiation being leaked in one of these sites. Well, what was that for? Domestic energy? How many times did we hear that? Over and over and over again. The key is what the president said. If we are attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full strength and might of the U.S. armed forces will come down on you at levels never seen before. He's not going to be convinced otherwise, whether Putin calls him and says, hey, Donald, you may not want to do that. He'd say to Putin, you know what, go shove it. Those are my people, and those are my armed forces. Here's the truth. A deal with Iran at this point, seeing what they're doing, I would think, is a delusion. You know, I remember when in our country, if a country sought to kill, that is, assassinate our president, we would destroy it. It's an act of war. I don't think we'd negotiate with it. I don't think we give a damn what they have to say. And if we had an ally country that's trying to destroy the regime, or at least their nuclear weapons, I think we'd be appreciative of that, don't you? I think so. I mean, after all, Israel did destroy Hezbollah, or its leadership, which killed all our Marines, the 200 and some at a base, as well as attacked 2 embassies and killed hundreds of American citizens. They took them out. Our leadership, Biden didn't take them out. So they took out Nasrallah and his team. I mean, they've taken out terrorist leaders who've killed Americans. I don't even think we sent him a thank you note, Mr. Producer. I don't think so. I'm just making the point. And nobody talks about the people of Iran. Nobody. If there's a deal and the regime stays, then the people remain imprisoned in their own country. Is that a good thing? Well, Mark, that's none of our business. Well, if we're signing a deal, and I'm not saying we are, by the way, but if we are, and those people remain imprisoned, it seems to me that is our business. So if we do a deal with Iran, does that mean that regime will stay in power for another 50 years? That means it'll outlive, obviously, Donald Trump's second term. Do they think they're going to be bound by this agreement? Will the next supreme Islamist Nazi feel that he's bound by this document? You see, the only way to get rid of evil, I hate to say it, is to get rid of evil. Is to get rid of evil. Peace means the elimination of evil. And if evil exists in a regime, I don't know how you get peace, serious, lasting peace, when a regime wants nothing more than terrorism, slaughter, and war, as it's demonstrated over and over again. And this is not just a nuclear program now. It's a ballistic program. It's even bigger than that. They've built an alliance with other countries that endanger the United States of America. And let me ask you this question. What's to stop Iran from trying to assassinate our president again? What's to stop Iran from funding terrorists to come into our country and hit us again and again and again? What's to stop them? Force. It's the only thing to stop them. The elimination of that regime. It's the only thing to stop them. You know, we have a Transportation Security Administration to protect us from terrorists. You know, law enforcement has been rejiggered all over the country. We have a task force, terrorist task force, to protect us from what? The Islamist Nazis in the Middle East, for the most part, like Iran. We spend tens of billions of dollars, if not hundreds of billions of dollars a year, local, state, federal, law enforcement, military, all of our services, to protect us from what? Countries like Iran, terrorists like Iran. So even if we have this one agreement between Israel and Iran, it's not going to stop. What is terrorism? Why do we call them terrorists? It's because they're doing what they're doing, that's why. So let me end it this way. Thank God we have President Trump. Thank God the President of the United States is standing shoulder to shoulder with Israel. Thank God we're providing Israel with arms so that they can defend themselves and attack the nuclear sites. And thank God President Trump, in my view, will not be swayed by Putin. He won't be swayed by other countries. He knows right from wrong. He knows good from evil. And he knows history. He knows about Neville Chamberlain. He knows about these phony agreements. He knows that these are effectively the same people who've attacked the United States of America. And that we wouldn't act any differently than the state of Israel, except perhaps even more aggressively, because the little state of Israel is relying on other countries to not undermine it completely. I'm talking about Western countries, whereas we're big enough to stay the course. America must continue to stand behind Israel. They need to finish the job. It's going to take several weeks. Their bombs simply cannot penetrate all of these nuclear sites with 1, 2, 3, 5 runs. They need several runs. And so that's the way it goes. They're the ones taking the incoming. The Israeli people are paying the price, and the Israeli people want to live in peace. They want to be able to enjoy their parks, their playgrounds. They want to be able to enjoy their schools, their cafes, their restaurants. They want to be able to go to synagogue and church. They want to be able to live like free people, like we do, without a nuclear weapon pointing at their head, without ballistic missiles pointing at their head, without looking in every direction, being surrounded by terrorists. It's hard to believe that any piece of paper can prevent that. And if you can show me any time in world history that it has, I'd love to see it. I don't think the founding fathers, as brilliant as they were, could write a document that would contain evil. No, unfortunately, at times it takes force.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.